It's past the hour here in Moscow. On the program now, a Proton rocket has failed to send into orbit the Mexican communication satellite it was carrying after launching from the Baikonur Cosmodrome. Let's get details now from RT's Ilya Petrenko joining us live here on the program. Ilya, we're getting conflicting reports at the moment. Can you clear it up and tell us what happened to the Proton rocket and the satellite on board?
Well, at least there are no conflicting reports about the launch. The launch itself went perfectly fine. However, shortly after the launch, apparently there was an engine failure, and at the moment, indeed, we understand that we lost an entire satellite. It was a Mexican communication satellite, and the main version that Roscosmos at this point is looking into is engine failure. And right now we understand that apparently this incident is very similar to the last Proton emergency which happened almost exactly a year ago, which was in May 2014, when also a Proton rocket fell during an emergency because of an engine failure. It is a quite tough spring for the Russian Space Agency, because just a month ago, at the end of April, the Soyuz rocket failed to deliver cargo to the ISS, but all the remains of that rocket burned in the atmosphere. We're still waiting for information from Roscosmos on what happened to the remains of this Proton rocket and also the satellite that apparently had this emergency just a couple of hours ago.
All right, RT's Ilya Petrenko, thank you for that. The short history of digital currencies has been turbulent, though they still have their ardent supporters. Let's show you the photos of Abigail Scrale, London's first Bitcoin-only photographer. For 6 months, she will only be accepting the cryptocurrency for her work. So RT's Anastasia Churkina went for a chat.
Bitcoin's spreading its wings. In Europe, shops, cafes, hair salons, and even airlines have grasped the trend of accepting the digital currency along with the more traditional ways of payment. But a photographer in London is taking relying on the unregulated online payment system to a much more risky level.
I knew that it wasn't going to be secure or safe, but my main goal was just to bring awareness to Bitcoin.
A photo shoot at a creative warehouse community in London. 19-year-old photographer Abby Scarlett is shooting a music album cover with a client. This photographer and activist plans to prove that it can be a much more mainstream currency by taking it one step further, working only for Bitcoin for 6 months straight to bring awareness to this alternative and ultimately bring change to the current world financial system from the roots up.
Bitcoin isn't all about the negative things that's shown in the media. With all the potential it's got to change the current system, why not get more people involved and more people understanding it?
Doing away with the usual photographer's rate card, Abby uses a pay-what-you-can-afford system.
Yes, confirmed. Cool.
And while prices are negotiable, the currency is not.
There's no banks, there's no third party. You're not going to get charged ridiculous fees. You haven't got to wait ages for it to be confirmed. It's all sent in an instant.
For clients who are not familiar with it, Abby is happy to explain.
Bankers are getting so many ridiculous bonuses right now that they don't deserve. They're really corruptive, the banks and the banking system. After the 2008 banking crisis, Bitcoin was really the only solution that came to mind where we can actually change what's happening.
With 5 more Bitcoin-only months to go, Abby's end goal is to open her own photo studio and coffee shop, where Bitcoin will also be the go-to currency, a space for people to get together and teach themselves about taking power back from the banks. Anastasia Churkina, RT, London.
The photographer's challenge to go 6 months just using Bitcoin is only possible because the digital currency's caught on so quickly. It can now be used in shops as well as online. And some bars and restaurants also accept Bitcoin. We will keep you posted on whether or not the photographer can go the entire distance. All right, still to come. Here on the program, the Boston bomber, the marathon bomber, Johar Tsarnaev is sentenced to death by lethal injection in America. That story and the rest of your world headlines in just a moment.